Hello and welcome back to Brics Speak. In today's episode, I will cover 10 more questions on current affairs which are expected to be in your question paper on upcoming current affairs examination. By end of this episode, you will learn about the Iran-Israel escalation, US-China trade war, Pakistan allowing US access to air bases, China-Iran strategic partnership expansion, Brics expansion and India's dilemma, technology as deterrence, AI and quantum race, Myanmar's resistance gains momentum, India-Russia energy partnership post-Ukraine, the Indian Ocean as the new battleground, and information warfare and narrative control post-Operation Sindhu. In addition to my coverage, I will also put a link where you can access the notes that I have prepared while recording this episode. So let's begin. Iran-Israel escalation. The exchange between Iran and Israel marked the first open missile duel in their long shadow war. Iran's salvo of over 200 drones and missiles followed Israel's strike on an Iranian consulate in Damascus. Israel's layered air defense network, aided by the US and Jordan, intercepted most projectiles, but the symbolism was immense. The Middle East had entered an era of state on state missile warfare. Energy markets reacted immediately. Oil prices crossed $130 per barrel, testing India's import bills. The conflict also pulled regional powers into uneasy alignment. Saudi Arabia and the UAE called for de-escalation, while the US sought to prevent a wider war that could endanger its Gulf presence. India balanced with quiet diplomacy, condemning escalation but avoiding direct criticism. Evacuation of Indian nationals from West Asia was swift and efficient, showing New Delhi's growing crisis handling capability. The episode exposed the fragility of the Gulf security environment on which India's energy and expatriate lifelines depend. It reaffirmed the need for diversified energy sources, strong naval presence in the Arabian Sea, and strategic autonomy in West Asia, never taking stability for granted in a region built on rivalries. US China trade war. By mid 2025, President Trump's second administration reignited tariff battle with China. A 60% blanket tariff on Chinese imports and sanctions on critical technologies. Global supply chains scrambled for new routes and Southeast Asian economies benefited. India too found both opportunity and pressure. On one hand, multinationals looked at India as an alternative manufacturing hub. On the other, the rupee faced volatility as global markets reacted to inflation and trade fragmentation. China retaliated with export curbs on rare earths and solar components, hitting global energy transitions. For India, the challenge was to convert global dislocation into advantage, ease manufacturing, reduce bureaucratic delay, and secure technology inflows. Strategically, it meant reinforcing the Quad partnership without becoming a pawn in US China rivalry. Security implications. Economic decoupling will translate into technology and military separation. India must prepare for parallel technology ecosystem where access and alignment become political tools. Balancing open trade with secure supply chains will define India's strategic economy over the next decade. Pakistan allowing US access to air bases. The June 2025 Global FinServe report confirmed what many suspected. Pakistan quietly allowed the US limited access to two air bases, namely Shamsi and Jacobabad, for monitoring Afghanistan and Iran. In return, Washington released a defense aid package including F-16 maintenance and air defense upgrades. For Pakistan, the arrangement was about relevance, re entering the US orbit after years of drift towards China. For Washington, it was a practical move, proximity for surveillance without direct regional entanglement. India viewed the development with concern but restraint. The immediate risk lies not in US troops but in revived US Pakistan dependency networks, intelligence, logistics, and aid pipelines that historically encourage Islamabad's strategic adventurism. Security implications: a re-armed and externally funded Pakistan increases India's Western theater complexity. It also opens space for renewed covert operation against India under the guise of counterterrorism funding. India must strengthen its intelligence and keep diplomatic channels open with Washington to ensure old patterns do not return under new packaging. China-Iran strategic partnership expansion. By late 2025, the China-Iran partnership had moved from infrastructure to military technology. Iran's access to Chinese UAV satellite support and cyber tools deepened. Joint naval drills in the Gulf of Oman symbolized a slow but steady shift, Beijing gaining an operational footprint near India's western maritime flank. Iran benefits through sanctions, evasions, and modernization of its missile and drone program. China, in turn, secures energy routes and forward presence across the Gulf, complementing Gwadar and Djibouti bases. For India, this convergence complicates the western seaboard. The Gulf, once dominated by US-led security, is now an arena of multipolar competition. The security implications are: Chinese hardware in Iranian hands could threaten shipping lanes and Indian energy assets. India needs deeper cooperation with Oman, UAE, and France to maintain situational awareness. Strengthening the Western Fleet's maritime domain awareness is now as crucial as its eastern counterpart. Brics expansion and India's dilemma. The 2025 inclusion of Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Iran into Brics transformed the grouping from an economic bloc into a political forum. While this expansion increased visibility, it also diluted unity. China and Russia pushed for a stronger anti-West narrative, while India preferred development focus. Saudi Arabia's entry brought energy heft, Iran's ideological baggage. For India, managing contradiction between Riyadh and Tehran under one umbrella became a diplomatic puzzle. Yet, BRICS offer India a platform to champion the global south, pushing for financial reforms, debt relief, and climate justice. The challenge lies in maintaining non alignment while remaining relevant amid power polarization. Security implication: if BRIC tilts towards a China led coalition, India risks being cornered within its own platform. Hence, India must use its credibility with both the West and the South to steer BRICS towards pragmatic cooperation rather than ideological posturing. Technology as deterrence, AI, and quantum race. In modern warfare, deterrence is shifting from missiles to microchips. Artificial intelligence, quantum sensing, and autonomous systems now shape how wars are fought and prevented. China and the US are investing massively in algorithm warfare, predictive intelligence, autonomous swarms, and cognitive decision support. India has recognized the trend. The Defense AI Council and IDEX initiative are promoting AI-enabled logistics, surveillance, and wargaming. Yet gaps remain in integration and indigenous hardware. True deterrence in the AI era comes from decision speed, the ability to sense, decide, and act faster than the adversary. Quantum technologies will further disrupt stealth and encryption, altering the balance of surprise. Security implications: India must evolve doctrine, training, and acquisition to match the pace of change. Investments must prioritize indigenous processors, AI testing ranges, and fusion centers. In the future, deterrence credibility will depend on code, not caliber. Myanmar's resistance gains momentum. In 2025, resistance forces in Myanmar achieved unprecedented territorial control, capturing towns near the India border and threatening Janta supply lines. For India, the situation is a double-edged sword. The weakening of the military Janta reduces Chinese control in some areas but increases chaos. Refugee flows into Mizoram grew and weapons from Southeast Asian black market filtered into the Northeast. Indian infrastructure projects, especially the Kaladan route, slowed. Balancing security and humanitarian responsibility became central. India quietly aided civilians while maintaining ties with the military junta to protect border interests. An unstable Myanmar threatens India's Act East policy and creates operational vulnerabilities in the Northeast. India must combine local engagement with regional coordination through ASEAN to prevent the borderlands from becoming lawless zones. India Russia Energy Partnership post Ukraine. 3 years after the Ukraine war, Russia's isolation became India's opportunity. Discounted crude purchases, rupee ruble payments, and investment in Arctic LNG strengthened energy ties. However, this also drew quite scrutiny from Western partners. India managed to maintain both its energy security and diplomatic balance. Moscow provided steady supplies despite sanctions, while India increased refining capacity to export to Europe, a paradox of geopolitics. The partnership, though pragmatic, faces limits, logistical bottlenecks, and payment challenges under secondary sanctions. Security implications: energy interdependence enhances strategic autonomy, but over reliance on sanctioned suppliers can invite future constraints. India must diversify towards Africa and Middle East while investing in renewable transition to ensure energy does not become a pressure point in diplomacy. Indian Ocean, the new battleground. The Indian Ocean in 2025 has become a chessboard of great powers. Chinese research and surveillance vessels now operate regularly from Hambantota to Gwadar. The US, France, and Australia have expanded patrols, while India has fortified Andaman and Nicobar Command with new P-81 aircraft and seabird sensors. Beijing uses scientific Beijing uses scientific expeditions to map undersea cables and maritime routes. Such mapping has direct military utility, aiding submarine navigation and anti-submarine warfare. India's counter lies in an expanded maritime domain awareness, cooperative patrols, and indigenous underwater surveillance system. Partnership with Seychelles, Oman, and Mauritius are central to this effort. The Indian Ocean is no longer India's backyard. It's a contested space. Maritime vigilance, alliance building, and technological superiority will determine who dominates its depths. The future of India's security literally floats on its sea lanes. Information warfare and narrative control post Operation Sindoor. Operation Sindoor proved India's military capability but also revealed its narrative weakness. Despite precision strike and limited escalation, international opinion remained divided. Pakistan's propaganda machinery, aided by global media network and online influencers, filled the space India left unoccupied. The problem lies not in the facts but in the speed and coordination. India's information response was fragmented, multiple agencies, slow clearances, and inconsistent messaging. Modern conflicts are fought as much in perception as on ground. Security implications: India needs a dedicated information warfare directorate integrating media, cyber, and diplomatic messaging. Strategic communication must become part of the operational plan, not an afterthought. Victory today is not complete until the story of victory is owned, told, and believed. With this, I come to the end of today's episode. Keep working hard. All the best for your upcoming examination. Jai Hind.